Hi everybody, today I'm going to finish up Professor Clark the Science Shark, The Storm, Book 5. Here's your cover. Book 5, The Storm is dedicated to all of our friends without whose help, dedication, expertise, and patience our dream would never have been realized. Thank you to the Harris family, Betsy Burton, Sun Oaks, Graphic Design, the South Florida Science Center, and Aquariums, and our boys Joseph, David, Joshua, and Matthew. The defending sounds of breaking waves could be heard from miles through the ocean's warm water. One particular reef, located on the east coast of Florida, would soon be experiencing a hurricane. The area of the Atlantic Ocean was known as Hope Reef. It was famous for its sapphire blue and tranquil waters, with beautiful coral reefs and vast arrays of marine life inhabitants. On this day, however, there was nothing calm and peaceful about those ocean waves. The sea creatures and animals that called Hope Reef their home looked upwards with concern and curiosity. Many of them swam and scurried around in confusion, while a few hid in fear amidst the rocks, caves, and crevices of the reef. The inhabitants knew that this wasn't the usual sound and feel of waves over Hope Reef. All of the changes were due to impending hurricanes. The barometric pressure change and severe precipitation were clues that a tropical storm was on its way. Out on the reef that day, swimming nervously, was Professor Clark the Science Shark, along with his sidekick Ray the Remora. The magnificent tiger shark was very preoccupied, studying the weather's conditions that seemed to be intensifying by the minute. The sea creatures that lived on Hope Reef depended on Professor Clark to keep them safe and prepare for anything, including bad weather. He would never let any of them down. Ray from the pressure change, I think we are going to be experiencing a full-blown hurricane by the end of the day. We need to get our neighbors together so that we can prepare for this hurricane and keep our homes safe. Professor Clark said urgently, Quickly, let's try to find Holt and Rita so they can help us. Just as Professor Clark and Ray were ready to take off, Rita, a very concerned hawkbill sea turtle, swam quickly towards them. She was Hope, Reef's newest inhabitant. Surprised to see her, Professor Clark and Ray didn't notice at first that she wasn't alone. Camouflaged perfectly with Rita's beautifully patterned tortoiseshell was Holt, their very hesitant seahorse friend. Rita was out of breath, but was still able to blurt out, Professor Clark, the waves are getting higher and higher, and I feel pressure change in the water. I have seen these conditions before. Are we having a hurricane? Rita asked anxiously, meaning Rita's getting nervous. She wonders if that hurricane is going to come. Yes, Rita, Professor Clark answered. You are absolutely correct. I too felt the pressure dropping, which may sign that a hurricane is coming our way. Finally, Hope, the little seahorse, spoke bravely as he clung to Rita's neck. I'm going to try very hard to not be afraid. Hope, I can understand why you might feel that way, but later when I explain what a hurricane is and how they are formed, you will see how they actually benefit our ocean's water, our ocean home. Right now, though, you, Rita, and Ray need to gather all of your Hope Reef friends together. They all need to hear the plan to keep us safe. So please hurry. Tell everyone that you see to meet here at a big brain coral. Professor Clark said adamantly. Immediately, Rita, Holt, and Ray took off, leaving Professor Clark behind to wait their return with all the other inhabitants of Hope Reef. As the pounding waves continued below overhead, Professor Clark devised a plan to keep everyone safe. Meanwhile, Rita, who normally was not a fast swimmer, was encouraged by a galloping Holt to swim faster and faster as they yelled at the top of their lungs and gills to every fish and sea creature they saw to meet at the big brain coral where Professor Clark was anxiously awaiting. Finally, when most of the reef residents were accounted for, Holt, Rita, and Ray swam back quickly to Professor Clark. There they are yelling. Professor Clark was relieved to see his friends return and was encouraged to see so many of the reef inhabitants following behind them. Professor Clark, you see, tried to live with a scientific purpose: investigate, observe, and analyze. Investigate, observe, and analyze. That sounds like a scientist. The situation. Although a shark and a tiger shark, at that, Professor Clark had been born different with a purpose and mission to help educate the next generation. This gave him a unique opportunity. He quickly took control of the gathering since there was no time to waste. Okay, everybody, listen up. As you have all heard, before long, this part of the Atlantic Ocean will experience a hurricane. Soon we will have turbulence, waves, and water currents, so it's important for all of you to listen and prepare quickly. First, most of us will need to swim down to deep waters. Those of you that cannot swim that deep, please find a secure cave or crevice in the coral reefs around Hope Reef. I want all of you to quickly find food and eat what you can. Look out for one another and please be careful, Professor Clark stated assuredly. After the hurricane passes, I'm sure we will all have some cleaning up to do, he added.